Let's get back to Noah. Genesis chapter 8 and verse 1. And God earnestly remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals who were with him on the ark. Now come on, guys. Who knows how long Noah was on the ark? 100 and how many days? 5 months. Think how crazy this is. Who's ever spoken to God? Have you ever spoken to God? Okay. Does he speak back to you? Not always. But generally he does. You feel it inside you. Okay. Noah hadn't heard from God. Because it says there, and God remembered Noah. Ah, shucks. Here's this oakie bobbing around in the water on a piece of plank. Okay? And God made a wind to blow over the land, and the water sank down and abated. Wind relates to spirit, breath. Okay? When the breath of God comes into you, the waters of turmoil will abate. They'll go away. You like that? Hey? I can see you smiling there. Hey? When the breath of God comes into your life, your waters of turmoil will go away. Remember the DNA of God. Genesis 1 verse 2. The earth was without form and empty waste, and darkness was upon the face of the very great deep. The Spirit of God was moving, hovering, brooding over the face of the waters. It ties together. God does not change. Okay? Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. I'm just going to prove to you quickly that God does not change. For I am the Lord, I do not change. Simple. Hebrews 1 verse 3, Hebrews 1 or Hebrews 3 verse 8. I've mixed it up there. Jesus Christ, the Messiah, is always the same. Yesterday, today, and forever to the ages. Amen. So now we've covered 2 sections of water. Now we're going to start with another section. Moses. Let's have a look at Moses. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1. And there went a man out of the house of Levi and took as his wife a daughter of Levi. Verse 2. And the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. Now come on, guys. Who has ever heard that word described about you or me? Hey? Come on. I know mothers, when they look at that baby the first time, oh, cute. But you never hear a mother saying, oh, my kid is so goodly. Hey? I think the guy who wrote this was out of his mind. So, let's stop there, okay? Who wrote the book of Exodus? Who wrote Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy? Who wrote those first 5 books? Moses wrote those books. A goodly child? Come on. Eh? NIV, the NIV says a fine child. The Amplified says, especially beautiful and healthy. The Message version says, something special about him. My thoughts on this: chew it over, spit out the bones. Who wrote the book of Exodus? It was Moses. I say vanity. I call it vanity. He was writing about himself. Come on, guys. If you're going to write about yourself, of course I'm a goodly child. Hey? Aren't you a goodly child? Yeah, of course. Especially beautiful. I'm fine. There's something special about me. Can each and every one of you write your story, please, and make sure that you write your story and say, I'm a goodly person. I'm especially beautiful. Can you say I'm especially beautiful? I combed my hair this evening, so I must be especially beautiful. I'm fine, and there's something special about me. That, to me, is the striking point. You need to be able to say to your friend, there's something special about me. Amen? Amen. This is only my opinion. Spit out the bones. I digress. Let's get it back onto Moses. And when we're looking at Exodus chapter 2 and verse 3 now. And when she could no longer hide him, she took him an ark of bulrushes and dabbed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river banks. Okay, the flags are the bulrushes and that kind of thing. Okay, so she made him a basket, smeared it with tar, bitumen, slime. For what? To make it waterproof. So he was comfortable and cozy. He didn't get wet. His nappy didn't get wet from the outside. Okay? And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done with him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrew children. Now remember, the Pharaoh had given instruction to kill all the Hebrew firstborns. No, all the Hebrew boys. So this Oki was now like 3 months old. And here is mayhem in town. The Pharaoh's daughter has found this little kid, and he's crying, and he's a Hebrew boy. Ish. Then she said, his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew woman, that she nurse the child for thee? Now this is the exciting thing. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. Obviously the mother was still breastfeeding this baby. It's only 3 months old. Okay? And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because he was drawn out of the water. Now here's the crux of the matter. This auntie was deceptive. She hid the baby in a basket in the bulrushes. She gets called to feed this baby. How blessed is this mother? And she gets paid to feed her own baby by Pharaoh's daughter. That is so cool. That is so cool. How many moms would like to get paid to nurse their own kids? There's only one mom here today. Okay, Romans chapter 8 and verse 37. Nay, in all things you are more than conquerors through him who loved us. So this is a perfect example of more than a conqueror. Who knows what more than a conqueror is? Hey? In our day, this is what more than a conqueror is. Dad goes to work to bring home the paycheck. Mom stays at home. Dad gives her the envelope with the paycheck and she spends the money. She is more than a conqueror. That's a simple definition of what a more than a conqueror is. Okay. Moses' name means drawn from water. Quite frankly, it's the same stage. We all come from water. We all come from water. Amen. Now, Moses is going on this huge expedition with all these Israeli people to go to the promised land. And this comes from Exodus 14 verse 12. And they rush out and they leave. Now understand, when they left Pharaoh's house, they cleared him out. Because the Egyptian people gave them gold, silver, precious stones. Did you know that? Okay? The Israeli people left with a massive blessing of gold, silver, diamonds, jewels, precious stones, all kinds of things given to them by the Egyptians. But now they're freaking out because they are between a rock, a mountain behind them, and a sea in front of them. In Afrikaans, hulle is tussen die bottel en die label. They're in a hard spot, guys. Okay? They've got a mountain behind them, they've got a sea in front of them, and Pharaoh's armies are now chasing along the mountain to come and squash them between the sea and the mountain. Verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt? Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that should die in the wilderness. Verse 13. And Moses said to the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he shall show you today. Broek, staan stil. Die baas is nie bang nie.